The night they met doesn't have fuck all to do with it. Man, if we all defined our entire lives by one night, we'd be fucked. I saw some reviews on Pagebound that were saying that this was like peak yearning, and I'm sorry, if you can call like emotional cheating while you are literally with someone else in another relationship yearning, I can't help you. Like, that's... Hi, my name is Silly, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're discussing Abby Jimenez, specifically her newest book, The Night We Met. And spoiler alert for this video, I hated this. We'll talk non-spoilers first and then get into the spoilery things. But first, I wanted to give a little background on my reading journey with Abby Jimenez. I have read all of her books and I own almost all of them. I noticed I'm missing one. I'm not sure if that's because I lent it out to a friend, because it's somewhere lost in this apartment, or because I never got that one physically, but I have read every one of her books, including all of her short stories. This includes her backlist, The Friend Zone, the Happily Ever After playlist, and the one that I don't seem to have my copy of, which is Life is Too Short, or Life is Short. Life's Too Short, something like that. Then we have Part of Your World, Yours Truly, Just for the Summer, Say You'll Remember Me, which I don't have my physical copy of yet, and The Night We Met. I have loved all of her recent books. She is one of my favorite authors of all time, which is why she's an auto-buy author for me and why I am so disappointed in this book. A little more background is that if you have read her backlist, you know that she has grown a lot as an author. There are some things in these original books that wouldn't vibe with people who really love her newer stuff. There's a couple funky things in the endings of these and how she portrays men, and it's like just a very light layer of misogyny and like womanly self-hate, I guess, is kind of in these ones, in my personal opinion. This one I think I liked the most out of the three. This one the least. So that's just a little background for you, and Yours Truly is one of my favorite books of all time. It has amazing anxiety representation. So now with that primer out of the way, let's talk non-spoilery thoughts on this book. I said it before, I'll say it again, I hated this. I hated this so much, and I kept reading it because I have been such an avid lover and supporter of her work that I trusted in her until the very end. I mean, I was losing confidence very quickly, but gosh, the synopsis, which, to be fair to me, I did not know before I started reading this, because like I said, she's an auto-buy author. I didn't really care what the plot was going to be, failure on my part, before picking this up. I just knew I love how she writes characters, plot, story, and how realistic and intimate those characters are. Boy, was I betrayed. I'm not doing that again, because it literally says in the synopsis. So like, again, I should have not been surprised. I should have known going into it, but gosh, was I surprised. About 15 pages in, I went, oh dear God, no. Is this what I think it is? And then I read the synopsis and I realized, oh yes it is. Most other people probably go into this book knowing what's going to happen, and I didn't, like a coward. I didn't know. This is not a spoiler, again, non-spoilery section. But this entire plot is about Larissa, who is dating Mike, and Mike's best friend, no. My AC turned on, so brief intermission. So this book literally starts off and it's about Larissa and her boyfriend Mike and Mike's best friend Chris, right? Yeah, so the love story is between Larissa and her boyfriend's best friend. Sure. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, the boyfriend Mike probably sucks, and Chris comes in to save the day and save her from this like horribly toxic relationship. And not really. No. Like, she shouldn't be in this relationship with Mike to begin with, because they clearly like don't have the same feelings towards each other. She does not love him at any point. Like, sorry to say the spoiler, but she's not in love with him. which, yeah, I mean, I feel like is given away by the fact that the romance story is between her and his best friend, right? He's not a bad person at all. He is going through a lot, and he is not in the right place to be in a relationship because he cannot even take care of himself, let alone another human being. He cannot give her what she needs in a relationship or what anyone would need in a relationship. He should not be dating right now. He should be focusing on his own mental health and his own things that he's going through, you know? And that is kind of dived in a little bit towards maybe the latter half of the book, but really not towards the beginning. And it's kind of hinted at that he might be going through something. But that makes him not a great partner in the fact that he's not in the place to be in a relationship, but he's not a bad person. He's just inconsiderate and not in the right headspace. And that makes this whole thing a lot more complicated because as the reader, the author is trying to have you hate him, kind of, and want her to break up with him so that she can be with the lovely human being that is his best friend. And I just can't root for that, you know? Like, I don't know, I might just be too pure-hearted for this story. But my inherent thought is that this could have been really interesting if this was literary fiction. If this was literary fiction and it was focused on Larissa and her life and everything that she's going through and the tough situation that it is to fall in love with someone while you're dating someone else and not even realize that it's love, you think it's a best friendship. That is something interesting to dig into, and I know based on the author's note at the end of this book, I know that's what Abby Jimenez was trying to go for, but this book needed a lot more editing, a lot more time and attention to get it there, and I don't think it received that. This needed a lot more rounds of editing to get it there, and it needed to be promoted differently because I don't believe that this is a romance. It's not a romance because there isn't enough time for it really to be a romance, if that makes sense. And I find it inherently very personally difficult to root for a romance that, I'll be honest, throughout the entirety of this book feels like emotional cheating. And I'll get into more of that in the spoilery section with all of my thoughts. But just for you guys who might not have read the book yet, that's the biggest takeaway, is that this entire 350 something pages was emotional cheating that I just could not root for at any point. And even when we got to the end, it just felt like a thank God it's over and I don't have to be with these characters anymore. And it just made me hate the two main characters throughout the entire thing because of this kind of deception that they were doing to themselves, to their best friends, to their family, and most of all to Mike, who deserves so much better. And since this book was published, Abby said that the next book is going to be Mike's love story, which thank goodness, because this poor guy has been going through it and does not have the support system that he needs, mostly because he is hiding all of his issues from his friends and not being open and honest about it and just doing a really good job of masking all of that from everyone around him. So it's not on the other people really, and they are trying to help him, but also he's just being a very difficult person to help right now, and they have expended enough energy in their lives trying to support him that they're just kind of done. That's the kind of the depth that I can get into without spoiling much of the book. So let's get into actual spoilers. I'll be honest, most of my notes on spoilers are literally just what I sent to my best friend, Jade. You can find her over at Jade Juniper. I know that Jade's also going to be making a video on this book because they hated it just as much as I did. So, you know, there's that to look forward to if you want more. Like I already mentioned, this book it doesn't even set you up for success because it immediately starts you off with knowing that Mike left Larissa in lurch. You literally meet Larissa after he has not picked her up to bring her mom to the hospital, which already sets you up to dislike him. You already know from the get-go that it's because he's hungover. You assume that it's because he's just, you know, inconsiderate and didn't plan ahead or whatever. And later you find out that he's dealing with a lot of like heavy depression, and this is how he copes. Which I feel like his character is not given really any grace in this story, and I will be the person giving him grace, because this man needs therapy, this man needs a support system, and did not receive it in this book. And I just hope he gets a love story that's worth him in the next one. My God, I mean, he did some bad things in this one, but again, it's not an accurate reflection of him as a person, because you are not an amalgamation of the bad things that you do. I mean, I say that with a giant grain of salt, okay? Like, bad people doing bad things, bad. But an inherently good person who is going through bad things, and the mistakes that they do are chalked up to letting people down, not being like a supportive partner, not showing up to things, and then, yes, being very stupid and accidentally almost like killing off your girlfriend because of her nut allergy. Like, that was just plain old stupid. Like, that man is dumb. But also, I think that that was just a terrible way for the plot to go. Like, I think that that was just silly and stupid and just created for the drama. And I don't think it's realistic that after his best friend told him that macarons have almond flour in them, which, like, okay, Mike didn't know, for then Mike to keep the macarons, to eat all of them, and then to kiss his girlfriend. Like, I know, it's just a level of stupidity that I just cannot believe. Ugh. Anyways, so from the get-go of this story, we're already rooting for these two characters that are not together, and it just already feels very uncomfortable for me. If I cannot root for their romance because she's dating someone else. And inherently, the title of this book is deeply inaccurate, because these two characters are living under the delusion that if only Larissa had gone home with Chris, the best friend, instead of Mike, the boyfriend, then everyone's lives would be perfect, and then she would be with Chris, and this wouldn't be an issue for them. You want to know what it wouldn't make an issue for them? If she just broke up with her boyfriend when she realized that she would rather have gone home with Chris. Like, I'm sorry, you're just going to stay in this relationship for 10 months, mind you, 10 months. They're in this relationship for 10 months. And for most of that relationship, she's like, oh, I wish I were hanging out with Chris. I wish I had gone home that night with Chris, and that he had just been a little more extroverted, which he couldn't have been because his mom had just died. Like, oh, I wish things had been different. It is a classic instance of sunken cost fallacy, where she is coping with this by saying she's already put in this amount of time, she should just suck it up and date the good guy and keep going. Like, it's ridiculous. It's not about the night we met, because the night you met means nothing compared to the 10 months of lies that came afterwards. I cannot believe. Terrible title. Also, this scene never happens. I know, like, half the book covers, you know. I mean, this is just cute, but are they ever sitting on a dock with, I thought this was a cat, but that's in fact their dog, watching fireworks? No. Stupid. It's dumb. I think there's also some instances where it feels like the author has not dealt with the kind of poverty that Larissa is in. There's just some things that feel slightly off. And I think there's also some things in the story that just weren't made clear until later on. For instance, for most of the story, she's complaining about how she hates living with her mom. She wants to live somewhere else, but she can't. And then at some point, she moves in with her boyfriend, who she does not love and does not care about, and is literally anxiety-ridden before she moves in with him. Before all of that, she's talking about how she can't move in with her best friend. She's like, oh, I can't move in with my best friend. And we don't find out until much later why she can't move in with her best friend. And it's because her best friend literally lives in like a tiny apartment with like 5 kids or something, or like she lives, Larissa, her best friend, her best friend Lexi lives in an apartment with her cousin who has like 5 kids. It's something like that. And again, I'm like, okay, get a 3-bedroom, get a larger house with another bedroom, sleep on the couch for a little bit, like it's fine. Or I don't know, ask any of your other friends, but I think Lexi is her only friend. Either way, there are other options that she's just refusing to look into. And again, it is about her being stuck in this mindset, this survival mindset, and trying to get through every next step. So like, she probably doesn't have other friends. There's probably not any lower income housing in this area, all of those things. But as a reader, for the first like 3/4 of the book, there's no explanation for why she cannot move into her best friend Lexi's apartment. She's like, it's not an option, it's too crowded as it is, without any explanation that there's like 5 people in a 2-bedroom. If that explanation was just included earlier on, it wouldn't have been like pissing me off for most of the book that there was no explanation for this. Whatever, something that could have been fixed with editing. Oh, another thing this is just a thing that bothers me about books in general, is that there is such an insane timeline for marriage in books. I don't know if this is just a me thing, but I swear to God, in every book, they have been together for less than a year, and then someone's talking about marriage, and I'm like maybe I just haven't met the love of my life at this point, and so maybe I would think about it differently. Maybe it just is an accelerated timeline. When you know. I could be wrong. But as someone who hasn't met that person yet, the fact that this man has been thinking about getting an engagement ring when they've been together for 9 months, when she hasn't said I love you, when they don't live together, is insane to me. Absolutely insane. Like, why are you thinking about marriage when you don't live together yet? Like, that could be the breaking point. You could be so deeply incompatible living together. She hasn't said I love you. Like, there's just so many things where I'm like, why are you thinking about marriage? That could be a case of where he's at mentally. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's a strong possibility that he is just in such a deep depression that he thinks that this might fix it. That could be it. Would have been great to dig into that at some point in the book, but we didn't, so it's fine. Oh gosh, the whole last part of this book, oh my God. So when they get, so for some reason, Chris decides to invite this beautiful, hot doctor to the cabin, right? This poor woman, set her free. Don't bring this gorgeous, intelligent, funny, nice woman into this disaster, okay? Set her free. She deserves so much better than you trying to fuck another woman to forget about Larissa. That's so messed up. Go see a therapist. Go separate yourself from this whole situation. Go have a conversation with either your best friend, whose girlfriend you're in love with, or said girlfriend. Like, I know this is a book. I know this is a book, and this is the drama and the tension that is being created, but I just need to talk it through, okay? Okay, this is what this is all about. This is why you're here, all right? So it's fine. And then Mike, Mike messed up the Christmas gift, and for some reason, Chris, the best friend, because listen, I can't remember their names for shit, okay? I need to look it up and then remind myself. But for some reason, Chris then realizes that he has to go out and purchase a thoughtful gift for his best friend's girlfriend. I think it's so stupid. It's so dumb, because the other thing that is such a problem that I have with this book is that Chris is convincing himself throughout this entire story that he is helping both his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend, whom he is in love with, by ensuring that Mike, his best friend, is doing the right thing. He is giving him guidance on how to be a better boyfriend. He is doing things on his behalf and telling him what to do in his relationship, which he tells himself is him protecting the woman that he loves and making sure that she is in the kind of loving relationship that she deserves. And somehow he doesn't realize that he is creating a more harmful environment for her, because her entire relationship with this man is a lie. Because he is not doing those things, because she's falling in love with the things that Chris is doing for his best friend and that she thinks is part of her relationship. It's so messed up, and that is such a like toxic thing to do, because her entire relationship is just built on these lies, and she thinks that she's getting these gifts from her boyfriend. It is so unfair to her and to her relationship and to his best friend, who he's just created this entire like lie of a relationship for. Is so messed up. And for him to then go out and get a gift, for her to unwrap so that she gets a gift on Christmas, is also so much worse, because she is in this like not this unhealthy relationship, which is unfair to her and unfair to the guy that she's with. Chris is the only reason that they have been in a relationship for 10 months, okay? He is the only reason. She would have broken up with him and everyone would have been so much happier. But this dragged on, and it is so much worse for Mike, because he has fallen more in love with her when in fact she does not give a crap about him. And it's just such a disaster. And like I mentioned before, the nut allergy scene. I appreciate that Chris cares about her well-being, and he does it very well. But also, if her boyfriend is going to be the reason that she dies, I swear to freaking God, I can't with this book. That entire scene was ridiculous. They did not have to construct this entire thing about the macarons that he did not know had almond flour in them, and like this whole thing. He could have just been drunk and eaten some nuts at the bar when they were snowmobiling, and that could have been it. He could have like forgotten. But for them to like create this entire catastrophic thing about him not throwing out the macarons that he did not know originally had nuts in them when he was trying to do a nice thing is just so messed up. And honestly, like, I feel like it would have been better for their relationship if he had just given her the macarons and she recognized that he's kind of stupid, and that he tried to do something nice and considerate but got it wrong and got her something with nuts. And then she realized that he's actually a nice guy who fundamentally is not in a place to care for her right now, is not actively thinking about her in that way to consider her nut needs and whatever. Nut needs nice. And then she moves in with Chris. Like, are you kidding me? And they're like, we cannot be together because it would be a betrayal of men's trust. And like, she's broken up with the guy at this point. She's broken up with her boyfriend, and both of them are like, we cannot be together because it would be betrayal of his trust. You've been betraying Mike's trust for this entire book, okay? You have literally been emotionally cheating the entire time while you were hanging out together and you were texting each other and like so much more excited to be together than to be with the other guy. And when you realize that, you should have broken it off with the guy you did not care about, because it is so much worse for him that you dragged out the relationship and pretended like you liked him than if you had just broken up with him earlier on. And they keep on this dialogue of like, if only we had known the night that we met. Does not make up for 10 months of lies and deception, okay? What else? What else do we got? You know I'm not done. Okay, I'm just going to read this entire text because this is everything I've been talking about succinctly summed up. This entire book is just some sunk cost fallacy bullshit. They're letting a singular moment dictate their entire lives, blaming one night of getting a free ride home when in actuality it's been 10 months of their own bullshit that they just aren't brave enough to voice aloud or face. I really said it well then. The night they met doesn't have fuck all to do with it. Man, if we all defined our entire lives by one night, we'd be fucked. Oh my God, there's so many excerpts from these books that make me want to scream. For instance, after what we'd said in the car, we didn't discuss what would happen next because nothing would happen. We understood that, and what's understood doesn't need to be explained. No, what these two people needed to do was have a goddamn conversation. And they're like, oh, we understood, nothing could happen. They're making it so much worse for everyone else by lying to themselves and lying to each other and not literally having a goddamn conversation. Oh my God. And then this man said, I could never kiss her. I could never call her mine. But we all know that they were gonna have sex like 15 pages later. So like, just have a conversation with her and with your best friend who you did betray for 10 months. Oh my God. And then at some point, he compares hugging this woman that he's in love with to a starving person stealing food. Very poor taste. I should not have been a line that was kept in this book. And it got to the point where I was reading this book and then Chris told Larissa, like, come home. And I wanted to yak. I wanted to yarf because none of this was creating a platform for a relationship. It was just like the most toxic start to a relationship, and I could not root for them for the entire book. And the way that it ended was so messy that by the time that they could actually be together, I was so not on board because of all the bullshit that they had done previously. I firmly disagree that Chris making her bad relationship better was a positive and loving thing to do. He is the reason she stayed in a bad relationship longer. I don't care if he had good intentions for her or for his friend. She's literally worse off because of what he did. And then towards the end of the book, he's out here saying that she is his best friend and he has no more family or friends left. And she is all that he has. If that is not a goddamn red flag, like he literally left behind everyone he knows and loves for this woman. I mean, girl, run. Like, this is not a great guy. Like, he is putting you on this insane pedestal, doing absolutely everything for you and not putting anyone else under consideration. And he's convinced that you are the be-all, end-all. So, like, if anything bad happens in this relationship and it crumbles and falls apart at some point, girl, cut and run, because he would not be an emotionally stable person. Like, I can't. And then, like, the last part of the book is her describing what is basically a loving relationship between her and Chris, and talking about how it would be nothing no matter what we wanted, when she's literally just in a sexless relationship. Like, she lives with him, they care for each other, they talk, they're best friends. They literally have such strong intimacy. The only thing that they don't have is sex. Like, that is literally it. Beyond that, they are literally in a relationship. And it is messed up that she doesn't think that they're in a relationship for that part or any other part of the book. It is literally a relationship without like physical intimacy, and all they need to have is like have the talk to define the relationship. Like, that's it. But besides for that, they're in it. And honestly, I'm so grateful that this was a fade to black romance, because I did not want to see any intimacy between them, because I was not on board with their relationship at all anyways. And last of all, the epilogue of this was so stupid, where they're just like in a corn maze. I'm like, let it be over now. So anyways, that's what I thought of the book. Let me know what you thought. If you enjoyed it, I'm happy for you, but also like, how? I saw some reviews on Pagebound that were saying that this was like peak yearning, and I'm sorry, if you can call like emotional cheating while you are literally with someone else in another relationship yearning, I can't help you. Like, I deeply disagree. So yeah, that was my 2-star rating of The Night We Met. I needed to do a rant review because I mean, you get it. You were here for it. You sat through this whole thing. So let me know what you thought about the book. If you disagree and you really enjoyed it, I can respect our differences in opinions, but I deeply disagree. So thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you watched this far in the video. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to know more about what I'm reading, watching, crafting, and traveling, then you can subscribe and see what I'm up to. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!